So today we will be learning about sense organs in sepia. We have already done with the nervous system of sepia, where we have seen various ganglions which are present, the nerves which are present, which will help control the arms, the mental cavity, as well as the functioning of various internal organs of the sepia. For example, we have seen about the branchial nerve, okay, the brachial nerve, then the pallial nerve, then stellate ganglions, the cerebral ganglia, the pleurovisceral ganglia. Okay, so we have seen all these ganglia in the nervous system. Other than these nerves and these ganglions, there are few sense organs which are also present in the sepia, which will help it in further functioning. The sense organs which are present in sepia are very highly developed, very well highly developed, that consist of eyes, statocyst, olfactory pits, tongue, and it is also called as gustatory organ. Talking about the eyes of these animals are large. Okay, if you have seen the sepia, which we have shown in other photos of other lectures, you can have seen the eyes. The eyes lie on the lateral side of the body. Okay, they are very large in size. It lies on the dorsal lateral side of the head in the orbit curve made by the cartilage. Since they don't have calcium bones present in it, the body exoskeleton has cartilage present in it. Okay, so there is an orbit, a pit prepared by help of cartilage, and inside that optic cartilage lies these eyes. The eyeball has a form, the sclerotics, strengthened by the plates of cartilage, the sclerotic cartilage. In this picture here, you can see these cartilage present here. Okay, everyone, I hope you all can see these cartilages present here. The dotted ones, these are nothing but the sclerotic cartilages. The sclerotics have a large opening. Okay, here you can see this is a large opening area. Okay, and this area is called as pupil. Pupil is surrounded by iris. Okay, these iris are muscles that helps in increasing and decreasing the size of the pupil. जैसे आपकी आंखें है, okay, your eyes, when you're trying to concentrate on something, you're trying to read something which is very minute, your eyeballs expand. Okay, your source, the pupils which are there present in your eyeballs, they will expand. Similarly, in these animals also, with help of the iris, the eyes can expand and try to see the outside animals, as well as it can help in decreasing the size of the pupil to a limited extent, not to a very high extent, but to a limited extent. A large spherical transparent lens lies behind the iris, okay, slightly protruding the pupil. So these is the lens, this part is called as the lens. It is held in position by ring-like ciliary processes projecting inwards from the sclerotics. The lens consists of two plano-convex halves. Okay, if you see the lens part, it is made up of two parts. Okay, two plano-convex halves. The outer layer, okay, which is present here, you can see this is the cornea, and in between the cornea and the inner lens lies this particular part, which is called as in between. Okay, the ciliary process and the lens divide the cavity of the eyeball. Okay, if you see the ciliary processes and the cavity which is present here will divide the eyeball into two regions: a small anterior chamber which is filled with waterous humor, and a large posterior chamber occupied by jelly like vitreous humor. The posterior chamber is lined by a second sensory layer called as retina. Here, this layer you can see here, this is the sensory layer called as retina, which consists of inner closed set parallel rods and is in contact with the vitreous humor. The outer layer consists of retinal cells which are in contact with the rods. जो internal rods है उससे वो connected है, and with the fibers of optic nerves. I hope you remember in the last lecture we had shown you optic nerves and optic ganglion. So this part is then connected to the optic nerves externally. The optic nerves expands into the optic ganglion just behind the eyeball region. Over here you can see the optic ganglion. So with the help of the optic nerves, the retinal cells is connected to the optic ganglia. A large soft body of unknown function lies near the optic ganglion, which is called as optic glands. The eyeball can be slightly moved in various directions with help of the muscle bands present in the orbit or the cartilaginous orbit of the eye. The next sense organ which we will study is called as stetocyst. Stetocyst is known as an organ of equilibrium. Since you all know these animals swim inside the water body, okay, so they have to maintain a balance when they are floating in the water. They have to go deep into the sea floor or the bottom of the sea. Sometimes they come up to the surface water body. So to maintain an equilibrium while going up or coming down, this stetocyst will help that animal sepia. These cytosis, they lie in the cranial cartilage, okay, where the cranium is present. They lie in the cranial cartilage close to the pleurovisceral ganglion. Okay, if you see the pleurovisceral ganglion, on the dorsal side, you can see the stetocyst is present. They have a complicated structure comprising of two main parts. One is called as crista statica, and the other one is called as macula statica. These are rounded evaluation on the inner cavity of the cytocyst. So if this is the cytocyst, these are the rounded elevations which are present inside the cytocyst. The crista statica is lined by flattened epithelium, and the mascula statistica is composed of elongated cylindrical cells. Okay, remember crista statica is flattened epithelium, mascula statica is elongated cylindrical cells. And not only elongated cylindrical cells, but it also has hair-like processes present at its free ends. A very large statolith is present in the cavity, which is attached to the mascula. Okay, in this picture you can see the cavities of the stetocyst is being exposed. The next sensory organ is the olfactory pit. It lies behind the eyes of sepia. They are lined with ciliated cells, among which are numerous narrow sensory cells. They are laterally connected at bases with the fibers of olfactory nerves. Okay, if you see here, this is the olfactory nerve present here. Okay, olfactory nerves. The olfactory pit are supposed to be the olfactory in function. Okay, the last sensory organ which we'll study is the tongue or the gustatory organ. It is a small elevation on the floor of the buccal cavity just in front of the odontopore. If you cut open the animal, the buccal cavity, if you cut it open, you will see the jaws, radula, everything is present, and after the radula, you will see odontopore. And just in front of odontopore, you will find a little elevation. जिसे हमारे टंग कैसे होते हैं वैसे ही मस्कुलर आपको कुछ दिखाई देगा. So that is nothing but the tongue. It is covered with papillae and is thought to be the organ of taste in the animal sepia. Moving to the next part of the chapter, that is economic importance of these animals. Okay, now we have studied so many things about these animals. We have studied their habitat, we have studied their location, distribution, about their digestive system, their circulatory system, and every other system we have studied. But why are we studying this animal? Because these animals are very much economically important to us. Important with respect to the ink present in it, important to respect of the meat or which has been provided by these animals. Sepia is edible, as we know. They form a great bat for catching fishes. Okay, it is not just that you can eat it, but you can also use it in catching bigger fishes. Their shell, that is the endoskeleton which was present, okay, which we call as cuttle bone. These are have a high source of calcium in it, and these cuttle bones, when the animal die and the cuttle bone is left out, these cuttle bones are provided to birds. Okay, birds can eat it and consume the calcium required by these birds from the cuttle bone. Human use of these substances is wide ranged. Common use is cooking, as we know, and the squid ink is used to sometimes flavor or darken the color of rice or pastas which are being prepared. It is added a black tint and sweet flavor to the food. In addition to food, cuttlefish ink is also used with plastics and staining of various other material. The diverse composition of cuttlefish ink, the cuttlefish ink is the ink which has been secreted from the ink glands. Okay, it has a deep complexity of colors and allows for dilution as well as modification of its color while diluting it. Cuttlefish ink can be used to make non-iridescent reds, blue, green color. Subsequently, it is used for biomimetic colors as well as in other materials. So that's all about the sepia.